Howdy! Welcome to Psychology and Film for Psych 107, Section 502. This presentation is over the movie Fight Club and is presented to you by Vanessa Aragonez, Mariah Garcia, Sergio Ramirez, and Sujay Singh. The main character in the movie Fight Club is a narrator, a nameless worker for a nameless company. He suffers from anxiety, depression, and insomnia he initially remedies through consumerism. That is, he buys things to try and define himself. Also called a multiple personality disorder, our diagnosis for the narrator is the dissociative identity disorder, or DID. This is caused by a bad experience or trauma and is characterized by the presence of two or more personality states within the person. For the narrator, his depression worsens the more he travels and the less he sleeps, that is until he meets Tyler Durden, an impulsive free spirit who knows who he is as a person. This highly contrasts the narrator who does not know who he is and is still using consumerism to try and find out. As evidence for our diagnosis, we decided to evaluate the narrator's self-destructive tendencies. One example is in the narrator's final interaction with his boss, when he throws himself through tables and bookshelves, arguing his weekly pension. Another example is a narrator's depression. This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. This is the opening line for the movie, which sets a dark mood, but it also exemplifies the narrator's depression. He is lost, looking through catalogs for dining sets that will define him as a person. However, the narrator undoubtedly kept the identities separated, unaware they are the same person. Typically, people who have dissociative identity disorder are often aware of having the multiple identities, unlike the narrator, who unknowingly switches personalities when he sleeps. For the narrator, we decided a good possible treatment would be psychotherapy. This is when a client talks with a licensed healthcare professional about his problems so that the professional may help identify and work through those problems. This is already the most common treatment for dissociative identity disorder, which would not only help the narrator sleep, but talking about his problems would help him cope better in the long run. A 10-year study documenting the long-term effects of psychotherapy has shown that 74% of patients lose any signs of DID symptoms once therapy is complete. Based on this evidence, it is safe to say that the main character would likely be cleared from any symptoms in the long term. However, why is psychotherapy appropriate? See, the narrator finds comfort early in the movie by visiting many different support groups. However, there is no evidence of professional psychological help like psychotherapy. We believe allowing the narrator open up to someone who can give him legitimate advice and help will allow him to alleviate his depression and insomnia over time. This is already an established treatment for people suffering from DID and has been proven to help long term. Possibly the biggest ethical concern regarding any kind of therapist-patient treatment is the responsibility of a therapist towards a client. There must be informed consent and a certain degree of confidentiality. In most cases, nothing that a client says to the therapist can leave the room, and any breach of this agreement is considered a felony. To some extent, Fight Club portrays some symptoms of DID accurately, such as amnesia, memory lapses, and auditory hallucinations. However, generally the primary identity does not communicate with the alters, though auditory hallucinations can be common. The switch between alters is usually instantaneous, but in the movie it is drawn out and done when the narrator believes he is sleeping. We believe this also influences how we view people with DID. We believe this movie emphasizes the importance of diagnosis and treating people with DID. Though extreme, the movie does a good job of showing the potential people with this disorder have, if they are not treated within time, to cause harm to themselves and to others around them.